All right, so I just got back from the mayor's, the village office. That was an absolute, yeah, well, it was to be expected. I kind of expected them to do that, but he led right in. My lawyer told me I don't have to say anything to you. I managed to allow him. I mean, it's a public office, but I did ask. I was very respectful about videotaping the audio. I didn't point the camera at anybody. It wasn't really necessary to do that, except for I wish I would on Phyllis about, Your Honor, that body language to obviously the harassment case. I mean, when there was things Phyllis originally told me, well, yeah, we'll give you the job. Then you got to go get licensed in the sewer treatment. They said, why they didn't have it the first time. She told me not enough personnel. They asked Steve there, or excuse me, Sean, why you didn't hire somebody. I wasn't qualified. Well, Phyllis told me you were going to go get qualified. So more than likely, you're trying to scrimp an inch, save on a position when you did have a qualified candidate that could have done the job, even though it was a newly open job. You've never had it before in line with something to the budgetary committee why it went in there in the first place. That money is potentially still rattling around. That's a big issue. What's the board doing? At least for me, and yes, there are meetings for this that will be addressed. It was fair for me to put into that situation why I was reasonable as an articulate suspicion for me to have fair, reasonable, articulate questions to needing an answer. And short of all but kind of one of them, he gave me the straight up answer, which was the question, anyways. What was the biggest problem of the town? Like, I'm just kind of looking for something while it's going south here to get us talking, so in that read technique. Which I get, he answered every question. Best of his ability, yes or no, plead the fifth if you want. So other than that, Phyllis was lying about a few things, and you can definitely see it on her. The way she had a different story than them, and then now all of a sudden at the very back end. Plus, I had him apologizing a couple of times. Those are clear infractions. Just because you said you're sorry doesn't make it right, and doesn't make it not susceptible to a lawsuit, at least from what I'm perceiving this argument to be potentially, which I probably should follow. There's really nothing going to come of this. They're all pissed off at me to a certain degree, and there was no resolve, and they certainly didn't act mature in the way they did it. And when asked, how did he handle Phyllis, or did she handle it right? I mean, there's only so much you can know. If you say you're going to take messages and they don't take a message to return a meeting, which you're claiming, then, I mean, obviously I caught you in a lie, I caught her in a lie, and what else is connected to this beyond just some simple collusion? How do we know that there's not theft involved in this? If just because somebody's not paying attention to the budgets doesn't mean it's somebody going here. Do we need to have some side audit as a town come down? And you see how that'd be hard to do with you as mayor? All we'd have to do is say some things like this, and that's not necessarily my intention. For the legal team or otherwise, I mean, I'd assume there's a reason the state troopers hadn't busted me up until this point, even though it was quick. And I kind of feel safe about it. I don't really stay in only a couple of vices, cigarettes, and what little bit of grass I smoke. Got a good book. I mean, he didn't even look at my books to come find out. Never even looked at my application and then said I wasn't qualified. I get that licenses, but I mean, in a town this size, who are you expecting to be licensed? I mean, it's a village position. Are you trying to find somebody in Binghamton to give the job to? I mean, what is it? Is it because I was a local? There was questions I didn't ask that would obviously have led to some hostility in their, Your Honor, district attorney, defense of any side that's necessary here. And I'm glad I caught it on video. It certainly brings into the idea of whether this is, and again, to other issues along into there, whether they're policies of the village to not do interviews on a position like that or anything like that. I'm glad these issues can be addressed by the people when necessary to further advocate that. And even to Sean and the rest of them, I hope they bite it. It's to me, personally, I had a long way to go on those learning experiences before I'm ever qualified for some of those positions. But it's going to be good, right, and possible if I can't get into some of these positions. And that's where I have to, draw some lines. Catch you on the next one.